Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our voting session for Friday, February 19th. We have about a dozen bills to vote on today. We'll start with House Bill 113. Delegate Lutke.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The House Bill 113 is a largely technical bill reorganizing the Bureau of Revenue estimates. The amendments also are largely technical. The amendments basically do what W&M asked us to, which was to take out language in the bill that would have mandated the salary for the director and I think the deputy director of BRE. As amended, I think pretty much everyone's in agreement. This is a good thing to do. The agency needs some, some of these technical changes, and I'd move the amendments.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions on the amendments? All those in favor of the amendments?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions on the bill as amended?
Move favorable.
Second.
Questions on the bill? All those in favor of the bill as amended?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Delegate Rowe.
Yeah.
Is Delegate Shoemaker. Just Delegate Rose and Delegate Shoemaker. Okay, thank you. House Bill 155, Delegate Ebersol.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This bill prohibits a local board of education, public kindergarten programs, primary and secondary schools, non-public kindergarten programs, and primary and secondary schools that receive state funds from refusing enrollment of, expelling, withholding privileges from, or otherwise discriminating against any student or prospective student. There are a number of categories for that that's prohibited. It also prohibits retaliatory actions against a student or the parent of a guardian of a student who files a complaint alleging specified discrimination. Also has mediation and appeal process. We've amended the bill to include that to prohibition of discrimination against a student as well as their parents or guardians. You can't discriminate against a student based on the parents or guardians, or even discriminate directly against the parents or guardians. Move the amendment.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. There's been a motion and many seconds. Any questions on the amendments? All right. All those in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And any abstentions? Okay. The amendment was unanimous on the bill as amended.
Move favorable, Madam Chair.
Second.
Are there any questions, comments? All right, all those in favor of the legislation, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, raise your hands. It's Delegate Attar, Hornberger, Boatler, Rose, Hartman, Long, Buckle, and Shoemaker. Party line plus Attar, which is different than the usual party line minus Hornberger.
Exactly.
We'll trade you one Hornberger for one Attar and a double later.
Yeah, there has to be a pick to be, we need a pick to be named later for that. Okay. She's very valuable.
All right, you all got that?
Was Delegate Buckle a no also?
Correct. He was a slow no, but he was a no.
Okay, thank you. Got it.
I mean, that's fair. You took a long time.
no.
He was deliberative.
I had a fellow delegate who popped their head in my office for a second and I got distracted.
Whatever.
Easily distracted.
Yeah.
House Bill 205, Delegate Washington.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This bill requires that by October 1 of this year, a public middle school and a public high school must install a menstrual hygiene product dispenser in at least 2 bathrooms, and a public elementary school must install a dispenser in at least 1 bathroom. By August 1st, it also middle and high schools must either install menstrual hygiene product dispensers in all restrooms, or if the school's restrooms are divided by gender, in all women's restrooms and 1 in men's restrooms. I move the bill. There are no amendments.
Second.
There's a motion, a second, and a Smith coming in. Any questions on the bill?
Uber to the hotel and you take Uber around.
Yeah.
You don't need.
Were there any questions? All right. All those in favor of House Bill 205?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Oh, it's new. Party line minus buckle. Oh, Hartman voted twice. Please note that. All right, I think I got everyone. Party line minus buckle. Just waiting for Pat or Kelly to confirm.
You've got it.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. House Bill 319, Delegate Lutke.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As introduced, House Bill 319 would essentially do three things. It would increase the floor for county piggyback tax rates from the current 1% floor to 2.25%, which is the current lowest piggyback tax rate in the state. It would allow counties to progressivize their income tax. And as introduced, it would have increased the cap on the piggyback tax from 3.2 to 3.5%. The amendment would eliminate that increase in the piggyback tax cap. So as amended, if we adopt the amendment, what the bill would do is it would increase the floor. It would allow counties to progressivize, which is identical to the bill we passed last year, except that the counties would be able to set their own brackets for within which to progressivize instead of using the state brackets. And the increase in the floor is so that there is no state fiscal impact if counties choose to progressivize. Without that floor, there could be a state fiscal impact. So I move the amendment.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. We do have a question, Delegate Guyton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It may be on the bill as a whole, but I'll put it onto the amendment. Is this bill enabling legislation then?
Yes, it's enabling in the sense that it would allow counties to progressivize now for that are already at 3.2%, which includes Baltimore County, the city, Howard, Montgomery, Prince George's, I think. It wouldn't have that much practical impact because in order to progressivize, they'd have to reduce their revenues. But for some counties, like Anne Arundel, it would allow them to progressivize and reduce the tax burden on working and middle class families and maybe increase a little bit on wealthier families.
Certainly, but there's no mandate that they do that.
There's no mandate.
Thank you.
And Delegate Lutke, can you further explain the 2.25 minimum?
Sure. So in Maryland, and actually under federal law, the lowest, the out-of-state taxpayers who pay Maryland income taxes pay the state tax rate plus the lowest piggyback tax rate. Currently, the lowest piggyback tax rate is, I believe, Worcester County at 2.25%. Without that increasing the floor, if, say, Worcester, as an example, were to progressivize and decrease that 2.25%, that would also have a significant impact on state revenues because those out-of-state taxpayers would now be paying less in taxes.
Okay, just want to make sure people understand that question. Delegate Buckle?
So, I mean, I'm just asking, is it fair to suggest then, or fair to say that for those counties that have already set their rates at the top cap at the 3.2, this bill really could only operate to provide a tax break for classifications of filers that they would want to provide that break to?
Yes.
But for counties that have not gone all the way to 3.2, it could be a mixed bag from a revenue standpoint if they would be raising taxes on a certain group of filers, perhaps to offset a lower group, not to offset, but simply to raise revenue.
Yeah, I mean, look,
different effect from county to county based on if you're at 3.2.
And it's a local decision, but yes, I mean, for counties that are at 3.2, the only way they would be able to progressivize under this bill is if they reduced some rates. Taxes. Yeah, I mean, they'd be cutting taxes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any other questions? I believe the amendment was a motion and a second. All those in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And on the
Question on the bill, Madam Chair.
Delegate Hornberger with a question on the bill.
Thank you. So does the bill give any jurisdictions the ability to raise their tax limit above what they currently have on any class?
With the amendment we just adopted, they can't raise anything above 3.2%, but it would be possible under this bill as amended to, for a county now, I mean, take Anne Arundel as an example. Anne Arundel, I think, is at like 2.8 or 2.9%.
Mhm.
They could increase their up to 3.2% on high income earners and decrease the rate for lower and middle income earners.
Okay, but no one, they would be forbidden from doing a pure increase, all the jurisdictions.
Yeah, I mean, it would now, with the amendment, it would not change counties' ability to, it would not allow them to increase their taxes above 3.2%, which is the current limit.
Right.
Okay.
They
Thank you
can't
so
raise
much.
taxes any more than what they already have the power to. So if Aaron
Okay, yes.
said we want to raise to 3.2, they could do it. They just had to do it for 20,000 filers up to 20 million filers. But they can't raise, this isn't allowing them to raise anything more than what they already have the power to do.
Okay. Thank you so much for explaining
I
that.
should say, by the way, I've asked Delegate Feldmark to be floor leader on this bill, so everybody should prep really difficult questions for the floor.
I'm not
Bring it
sure why you
on.
would say that, because I think we all trust that Delegate Feldmark will do a superb job.
I do too. I just want, I want her to have a challenge.
There will be some interesting questions for sure. Yes, Delegate Long.
Just want to clarify, in Baltimore County, our tax rate's capped at 3.2 right now, correct?
Yep. Correct. So in Baltimore County, the only impact of this legislation would be that if your
Taxes go down.
wanted to progressivize tax rates, they'd have to cut taxes for people.
Okay, they would have to come back. Can you repeat that one more time? You cut out.
In Baltimore County, if they wanted to progressivize their tax rates, they would have to cut taxes.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, I move the bill as amended.
Everyone at 3.2, this bill is only allowing for cuts, and for the other jurisdictions, they are both able to increase and decrease out and keep some people. All right, on the bill as amended, a motion?
Move favorable.
In a second.
Motion and a second from Mr. Second. Delegate Ivy. Thank you. What's that?
I was saying first place though. I apologize. It's something.
No, you just are our main seconder. That's all I'm saying. All right, all those in, any other questions? All those in favor of the bill as amended?
Aye.
Any opposed? Delegates Boatler, Hartman, Rose, and Shoemaker. I just want to be clear, Delegate Boatler, you're voting against your county being able to lower taxes for people. Just want to make sure okay, just checking.
Got it.
Who wants lower taxes?
Boatler, Hartman, Shoemaker, and Rose were unfavorable.
Got it.
All right, and now for something not at all controversial. Delegate Washington, House Bill 465.
Yes, this is not controversial because it's not an MLDS bill. So thanks, Stephanie Smith. We appreciate you. Thank you, Madam Chair. House Bill 465 requires that a nominee for state superintendent be approved with the advice and consent of the Maryland Senate, and prohibits a current state board of education member or someone who is within the last year of their term from being appointed as state superintendent. I move the bill.
Are there any questions? And I'm sorry, I didn't get a second.
Second.
Thank you, Delegate Ivy. Any questions? All right, all those in favor of the bill? Say
Aye.
Aye.
any opposed? That's new. Party line except Shoemaker and Rose.
Education bills are bringing them in to the fold. I love it.
There you go. Just want to wait until Haley and Pat have that confirmed. 5 no votes?
Yes.
Okay, thank you both. House Bill 482, Delegate Patterson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. House Bill 482 increases the number of members on the Maryland Race Fund Advisory Committee from 5 to 6. And it includes a member who's with the Maryland Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association. The bill also has 2 amendments. One is technical, and the second, it alters the circumstances under which a horse may be registered in the state. Move the amendment.
Second.
All right, thank you both. Any questions on the amendment? All right, all those in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? On the bill as amended, Delegate Patterson?
As the bill is amended,
Just say move favorable.
move favorable.
Second.
All right, I heard a motion and a second. All those in favor of the, I'm sorry, any questions? Favor of the bill as amended? Any opposed? All right, counting that as unanimous. All right, excellent. House Bill 597, Delegate Ebersol.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a bill we passed last year. It requires State Board of Education to establish probationary employment qualifications for an individual who's applying for first time to be a child care teacher. If in a child care, they are involved in pre-service training and meet a few other qualifiers. There are no amendments to this bill. I move the bill.
Second.
Any questions? All right, thank you, Delegate. All those in favor of House Bill 597?
Aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? All right, that passes unanimously. House Bill 610, Delegate Barnes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. House Bill 610 makes a surviving family member who stands to inherit a dwelling from a deceased homeowner eligible for the homeowner's tax credit if the surviving member meets all the necessary qualifications for the credit. This bill has an amendment. The amendment is technical and clarifying. Move the amendment.
Second.
Any questions on the amendment? All those in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, on the bill as amended?
Question on the bill,
Uh,
Delegate Wimber.
yes, thank you.
What are these tax credits?
What are the tax credit?
Yeah.
Stan, you want to explain what the tax?
It's the homeowner's tax credit.
Okay.
Madam Chair.
Wouldn't they already,
no.
just a follow-up question, wouldn't they already be eligible for that if they live there?
No, because you have to have, under the current law, you have to have your name on the deed. And this would allow you not to have the name on, you would not have to have your name on the deed. You would just have to be named as the heir in the will or other instrument.
Great, thank you.
Delegate Long has a question.
Yeah, the qualifications, if you could refresh my memory, that's one of my questions. And also is enabling legislation. And I guess my last question is this is a statewide bill. I'm just trying to remember all that.
Sure,
Right,
so
is Go ahead.
So the homeowner's credit is a statewide credit. It's a state-funded credit, so it has no effect on county or very limited effect on county revenues. The qualifications are based on your income and your home value. So your income has to be less than 60,000. Your home has to be worth less than 300,000. And it's a sliding scale, so it's more generous the less your income is. Does that answer your questions, Delegate?
Yes.
Delegate Palakovich-Carr?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think Stan just answered my question. So even with the amendments, it still is capped at a home worth 300,000 or less.
Yes.
Thank you.
One last question, if I could.
Yeah.
The question I have is, if it's a life estate, would that make any difference, or would it have to be inherited through whatever? If it's a life estate, would you still be eligible for this?
Yes, life estates are actually already eligible if you have a life estate.
All right.
All right. Thank you all for those questions. I think we've moved the amendment. We need a motion on the bill as amended.
Move.
Second.
Second.
Motioned and seconded. Any other questions? All those in favor of the bill as amended?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that's unanimous. House Bill 655, Delegate Wilkins.
Thank you, Madam Chair. House Bill 655 is Local Government County Commissioner Elections District Voting. This bill is a voting rights and fair representation bill. As it came in, it required that a commissioner that is elected the vote must be decided by the voters in that district. By amendment, we made the bill applicable to all counties. We also made some technical changes so that the bill would conform to some requirements. We clarified that the bill applies to beginning in 2022, so that doesn't affect anyone who's currently holding office. And as amended, the bill would apply to Calvert, Cecil, Charles, Garrett, Queen Anne's, and St. Mary's counties. I move the amendments.
Question.
Delegate Hornberger, there are 3 other questions ahead of you. I just want to confirm for the 4 of you that want to ask questions. Are your questions on the amendment or the bill itself?
Yes.
On the amendment.
My question's on the amendment a little bit.
Okay, Delegate Patterson was up first. Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I have a question for the analyst as it relates to the amendment. Charles County is a home rule county, and we want to make sure that this is that in the legislative intent that we will still remain some of our legislative process. So the question is that, is this the intent in codified language that we could decide for ourselves as a county how commissioners are elected?
You would have, Charles County would still have a lot of authority to determine its method of election for its county commissioners. But this bill would require that if the county has districts, if it chooses to continue to have districts, then the commissioners would have to be elected just by the voters of those districts. But the county could choose to move to an at-large system of election and do away with districts if it chose on its own.
And your county still has the authority to draw those districts.
Absolutely. That was my question and concern. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Delegate Buckle?
So my question is, Delegate Wilkins said we made an amendments that it will apply to all counties. I'm not sure what that meant, because many of our counties, is what Stan just said, many of our counties elect county commissioners simply at large. We don't have districts. I want to make sure there's nothing in this bill that will require anyone to use the geographic district system. They can choose to not use. Counties that already have the system now can choose to change. As you just said, I think Charles County could choose to change their system to an at-large only. Other counties that have at-large today are not going to be required to institute districts at all. Is that right?
That's accurate. What I meant by making it applicable is that as the bill came in, it said commissioners. We also said council. So that way it applies basically to every jurisdiction. So that's what I meant by that. But as Stan said, if you have in-district voting, all the bill says is that the election must happen by the voters of that district.
And the county councils, I don't know, I mean, I'm playing quiz show, Stan may know this. Councils that currently exist, which usually are in larger counties with county executives, are there any of those counties that would now affect so that they have geographic districts and they do it the way, say, St. Mary's County does? They have a geographic district, but the winner is from the countywide aggregate? Or is this really not going to have a direct impact, even though it would apply to them? It wouldn't change any systems for Montgomery, Hartford, Prince George's, wherever.
Stan already read the list of counties that are the only ones who would be impacted by this. It applies to everyone, but it only. But
they wouldn't be impacted because that was the original list of those 5 counties, I think, and I just wanted to make sure that.
And I think Cecil was added because of the executive. I think it was originally written for county commissioners, and Cecil was amended in when they changed it to council.
Yes. So Cecil is the one charter county that would have its election system changed by the bill as amended.
So Cecil currently elects
all at large.
They have a wonderful county executive up there. And so they now elect their county council people by districts, but it's based on the countywide vote?
Yes.
Correct.
So you'd have to change too?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Delegate Lasanti on the amendment?
I just have a thought as we're talking, as processing this a little bit farther, and it goes back to Delegate Patterson's question. So, as I understand the bill, the intent of the bill was to give more opportunities for self-governing, if you will, so that communities could, so that counties could, or commission forms of government could create districts. The opposite could happen in current commission forms of government that have districts. They could then dissolve those districts and vote countywide and elect their.
Have at-large, meaning all 5 people could live on the same street if you have a 5-member council.
Correct.
Same street and be elected countywide. Yes.
Yes.
That is a possibility of this.
So that is an unintended consequence.
That is a potentiality, yes.
Delegate, I wouldn't call it an unintended consequence, but that is not something that we're including in the bill in terms of requiring.
Right. I understand.
That would be up to the jurisdiction if they decided to make that decision.
Okay, thank you.
Delegate Hartman?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So just to clarify, so I believe Worcester County has a minority district that was required by legislation. You're saying this bill could undo that?
Can you repeat the question? I didn't hear you clearly.
I believe our county has a, we have districts, and it was because of mandated legislation. And this bill could undo that requirement?
So I don't believe that your district is impacted, but if
your county, yeah.
Your county is impacted, but if you have districts and the voters at large are electing that district, those are the jurisdictions that would be impacted, which I don't believe yours is one of them. The ones that are impacted, once again, are Calvert, Cecil, Charles, Garrett, Queen Anne's, and St. Mary's.
Delegate Hartman?
Okay, thank you.
Yes, your jurisdiction is not impacted.
No, but I understood, just a hypothetical, would it undo mandates for a minority district or something?
I don't know. I don't believe any of those 6 districts have those minority districts.
Okay.
Minority districts with at-large voting are not minority districts by definition. Delegate Hornberger?
Technical point, the amendment, page 6, Cecil has that weird offset, so you've really actually got to do it to 2024.
Because of when the election is?
Yeah.
Or I think it might be a technical amendment to assure that no one is impacted after 2022, since your election won't be until 2024.
Yeah, so we just had a commissioner or council election.
We all know that. We're all excited by the election in Cecil County. Stan, I'm sorry, Delegate Wilkins, is there anything that would impact Cecil County after 2022, since their election won't be until 2024?
I'll defer that to Stan.
I actually do think that I will have to make a technical adjustment to the amendment to clarify that.
Thank you, Delegate Hornberger.
I guess one other point of clarity here. I mean, I'm not personally opposed to the idea, but this is pretty major, impactful legislation for these jurisdictions that until 5 minutes ago had no idea this was going to happen. Is there any ability to special order the bill just to at least notify them? This is pretty major.
Well, I think they have all weekend with that, and I kind of expect a special order on the floor next week.
Okay.
I think that's fair.
So
it's pretty heavy stuff.
No, I agree. I think they're all finding out right now, and I don't imagine we'll be taking a full vote on this until late next week.
Okay. Thank you.
I mean, if again, I expect that delay on the floor. So I'd like us to keep going.
Okay, and then the last question, Hartford was mentioned. Hartford has an at-large, that's the president of the council. This would not impact them or their title.
I don't think it impacts any at-large individuals or within a county or at-large representatives from any county.
Right, but the ability to be the council president de facto and being the at-large seat. Okay.
Only in district.
Okay, thank you.
All right. On the amendment itself, All those in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? On the amendment? Hornberg, Boatler, Long, Shoemaker, Rose. Hartman, Buckle.
Thank you.
All right. On the bill as amended, Delegate Wilkins.
Move favorable.
Second.
Any other questions? All those in favor of the bill say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, raise your hand. Party line, Lasanti, is there any other? Okay. Party line plus Lasanti.
Okay, got it.
Thank you. And to everyone listening to our votes back home on the YouTube channel, just say not trying to ever single anyone out or make it difficult. We vote in this process in this way to allow the vote count to go a little faster and easier so we don't have to call the names every time. Just wanted to clarify that for everyone of why we do that this way. And of course, anytime a member wants a roll call vote, they can request it on any given vote. So just that part's a reminder to members. House Bill 712, Delegate Lukey.
Thank you, Madam Chair. House Bill 712 is another somewhat technical Bureau of Revenue Estimates bill. Essentially what it has to do with is something called the Tax Incidence Study, which is done by the Bureau of Revenue Estimates every 3 years. That study is intended to give us a better sense of how our systems of taxation affect Marylanders at different income levels. The current tax incidence study is only done looking at income tax and sales tax, which obviously does not provide a complete picture of the impact on taxes on Marylanders. So the legislation as introduced simply expands that to include 3 new types of revenue sources for the state: the property tax, the motor fuel tax, and tolls. The amendment simply directs the SDAT and MDOT to play nice with Bureau of Revenue Estimates when Bureau of Revenue Estimates is requesting the information they need to do the study. So it basically says they have to provide that information. So end result is this is going to give us a better picture of how our decisions are affecting Marylanders. I move the amendment.
Is there a second?
Second.
Well, Delegate Jones really quickly got in there on the second on that one. All those in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Any opposed? And on the bill as amended, Delegate.
I'm going to let Delegate Jones make that motion.
Move in favor.
Second.
Motion and a favor. All right, congratulations, Delegate Jones. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah.
In favor of House Bill 712 as amended?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, congratulations, Delegate Jones. All right.
Thank you.
House Bill 738, Delegate Wilkins.
House Bill 738, you might recall this legislation from the hearing. It's a departmental bill that just cleans up various provisions when it comes for allowing for a new governor, lieutenant governor candidate to be replaced on the ballot. We just want to make sure that SBE the time needed to be able to print the ballots if there is a situation that occurs where a replacement needs to happen. The amendment is just a technical correction. There was just a date and deadline that was missing in the drafting that was changed. So I move the amendment.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions? All those, oh, I'm sorry, Delegate Long. Oh, okay, hand down. All those in favor of the amendment?
Wait a minute.
Aye.
Yes, Delegate Long, back to you.
Just to clarify, this would only deal with the general election, correct?
This actually
ahead,
deals
Stan.
with primaries and general election.
Okay.
On the amendment, motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And on the bill as amended, Delegate Wilkins?
Move favorable.
Second.
And a reminder to everyone, this really deals with the situation we had in the last election with Kevin Kamenetz and Valerie Irvin and the timing, and the State Board of Elections was really at a loss of what to do in that situation when a candidate dies after filing for office when they have a running mate. So, if there's no other questions, did you already move it as amended, Delegate Wilkins?
Yes, moved favorable.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, questions again? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Delegate Long? Any abstentions? All right, just Delegate Long against that one. House Bill I'm sorry, is there someone else?
No, I just said thank you.
Oh, okay, thank you. House Bill 776, Delegate Ebersol?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This incredibly well-crafted bill. It requires the Maryland State Department of Education to conduct a study of the infant and childhood mental health consultation project. It's a group in Maryland that is state funded that helps early childhood centers with children who are exhibiting signs of mental health act to prevent for suspensions and expulsions in ages younger than pre-K. We already prevent that in the state from pre-K through 2, but it would actually help them to not have to suspend and expel them. Might even let them keep a customer. There's a number of items in it that we want the MSD to evaluate for possible expansion is what we really have an eye on, but it doesn't say that in the bill. An amendment was adopted to add one further item to the study. I move the amendment.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions on the amendments? All right, all those in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, on the bill as amended?
Move the bill as amended.
Second.
Questions? All those in favor of the bill?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that was unanimous. And then House Bill 751, I'm sorry, Delegate Smith.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were concluding. I wanted to register my support for the first 3 bills. I can do that later.
Can you, wait, please wait.
I apologize.
House Bill 751, Delegate Lutke with your usual role.
I move that unfavorable on the withdrawn bill.
I second that.
All those in favor of the unfavorable?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Delegate Smith and Lasanti, we obviously should keep this open and streaming as you two make sure that you talk to Pat and Haley about votes you missed at the beginning of the voting session, but to everyone else. So if you two can hold off for a second, if everyone else, I think we are otherwise done for the day, and I guess see you all in person on Tuesday. Any subcommittees have any announcements right now? All right, everyone have a safe weekend. And please exit unless you're Haley, Pat, Delegate Lasanti, or Delegate Smith.
Have a great weekend.
And keep it streaming, please. This is still public record.
Yes.
For any vote corrections. Delegate Smith, you missed which bills?
The first 3, House Bills 113, 155, and 205.
And how would you like to vote?
Affirmative, aye for all 3.
And there were amendments as well.
And I would like to vote an affirmative aye for all amendments.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Delegate
you.
Lasanti? You're still muted.
Apologize. Same 3 bills, for the affirmative on the amendments as well as the bills.
All right.
Thank
And did you miss, were you here for 319?
I think so.
I thought you came like a minute after Delegate Smith. Okay, just wanted to.
I think she was here for 319.
That's
Did I get
that's the piggyback tax one that allows people to lower it if they want to.
Yes, I did. I voted on that one.
Okay,
Yes,
just
ma'am.
checking.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent. Have a good
Have a
one.
good one.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you all very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Haley and Pat. You can undo the live stream and